And to introduce the book, I'd like to call a good friend, an entrepreneur, an engineer, a media personality, Mr. Buddy Pahens.
Thank you, Ricky. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
It's truly a great honor to be the one to have been picked out by Gus to introduce the star of our show in the second part, his book, Motivation and Opportunity. Gus, I will not only introduce this book, but I will endorse it with all my heart. Because I think I'm very qualified to do this, because I actually read the book from cover to cover. It was weird. When I got this book from, I actually did it in such a record time that it was unbelievable. I just didn't understand at that time, but knowing Gus now, I think we had a lot of things in common. First, he's a chemical engineer and a chemical engineer. I too had dreams of going to the States to study and work, which did not materialize. I have no regrets. He's also a very passionate man, as I am. And he also loved sports cars, which I also do. And it's only later that I realized this. And now we have become really close friends, and I value his friendship a lot. But this is a book that I think was not written in the usual way. Most books are written by people who have so much to share from their experiences. But this book was written out of a very intense desire to get rid of depression and a longing to pay back somebody who really loves him, his wife Joyce of 40 years. When Joyce died in March 20, 2004, Gus was all alone. His nearest relative was 1,000 miles away, and he, in fact, contemplated in killing himself many times. Fortunately, he had a neighbor who cared and suggested that he goes to see a grief counselor, and he did. But he needed a grief counselor badly, that he really wanted her to be with him 24 hours a day. And of course, that was not possible. So this grief counselor told him that I can only be with you 2 hours a week. But what you can do is that in between, especially in the wee hours in the morning, by the way, Gus wakes up at 4 o'clock every morning, and that's where he does his thinking. And put down in writing your deepest feelings, your hurts, your depressions, and everything. And that's what he did for a long, long time. And what he did, and he was advised to burn it so that it will be confidential, but what he did was he kept the works, shared it with his daughters, who kept them, and finally suggested that why don't you put this in a book? And together with someone else's help, it's Juliet Basa, I think, he put down this book, and this is the result, Motivation and Opportunity. This book actually is of 2 parts, for those of you who have read it. The first part is his struggling years, And I was amazed, and I told Gus, well, how did you remember all the small facts and details of this? I mean, it appeared that he really had a diary. So this book I highly endorse. And now when Gus came back to Cebu, he was brought to me, and we had lunch in casino with June Sanchez and Ram Sanisa, and I had a great time, and we've been getting together many times now. He has so much to share for this country. But I think we need to get together with certain people and find out what we can do, because I think to do a shotgun approach, Gus, is not going to work. I think you really have to focus. As you can see, we've got so many problems. A country can prosper, and I think it's the same with organizations. We're doing 2 things. We need to solve our problems and capitalize on our opportunities. It's just that we have so many problems that we need to work on right now for us to capitalize on our opportunities. So that's something that we need to work on. But we need to focus. You're a very focused person. So am I. I think together with Jude here, who's been helping us a lot here in the marketing, and I think the 3 of us will probably be a good team to work this out. So I'm going to be working hard for the next few months and maybe for the next few years to help promote this book, to help promote Gus in such a way that he can be. So that's my way of introducing this book. I've read it, I will endorse it, and I love it. So Gus.
We have Dr. Juliet Basa.
he changed the title. You answered that also, Gus, because when I edited his work, it was Timing is Everything, the title. Timing is everything. Yes. And that reflects in one of his chapters that his boss told him, Gus, no matter how bright you are, timing is everything. But when I got the copy of the American edition, which he published there, it became Motivation and Opportunity. So Gus, I would also like you to answer that. Finally, because I could see Ricky looking at me, and Ricky is thinking, Joel, sige na Joel, kaya maniunto na ta. Okay. Yes, the third reaction I have to your book, Gus, because I'm literature. I have a master's degree in literature, although my specialization is children's literature. I published twice in Ouano. Okay, Gus. I like the way you use your metaphors. Yes. There are many metaphors in the book. I counted up to 16 and then I stopped counting because you are so used to metaphors. But Gus, I would have you know, and everybody else who has not studied literature, that metaphor is power. And the metaphors that Gus uses, he says, when passion takes hold, logic goes out of the window. Gus is a very passionate guy. He is very passionate, just like the snowflake. No two snowflakes are the same. But when he met Joyce, the love of his life, when he looked into her eyes, and he saw how gentle she was and how soft-spoken, he felt that these two raindrops must fuse together. Thank you.
He's probably one of the few people that have read my book with passion and therefore has gotten some very deep insights. First was writing that. Actually, that metaphor came in after the book was almost complete. But I was actually writing on the plane about that metaphor, and a Buddhist was sitting beside me. He said, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm trying to distribute trees to our astronomers in Tucson, because you know Tucson is the center of Philippine astronomy. So we have some very deep discussion about it. Yeah, sure, it flutters and it dries up. And so what happens to the dust particle that nucleate that raindrop, the soul of the raindrop? Stays in the driveway. So, well, you know, it does get very windy in Tucson. So what happens when the wind blows in the driveway? What happened to the dust particle? Well, it's blown up in the air. Well, there you are. You have another seed, another raindrop forming from the same soul. So I said, my goodness, you're really clever. I said, no, I really believe that. But anyway, that's the answer for the question you have. And the questions, I think my stomach is starting to growl, and so is everybody else. Although it's very, very interesting, Juliet. Thank you very much. I wish I had more time, but it is past lunchtime.